Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2, the Red Hot Chili Peppers' Freaky Styley. This album was released exactly 1 year after the self-titled Red Hot Chili Peppers album in 1985. It was the first to feature founding guitarist Halil Slovak. He wasn't present for the first album, I guess, for whatever reason, because he was with his new band, What Is This? And they had gotten a record deal before the Chili Peppers, so he's not on the first album. But he did finally, come back to his original band with Freaky Styley, and it's a real good thing that he did, because his prominent guitar playing is something that went on to shape the sound of the Chili Peppers. That and the very fact that this album is produced by Parliament Funkadelic vocalist, lead, frontman, George Clinton. The band felt a very strong chemistry with him, I guess, and that's because of their deep funk roots. One thing going forward with this one, just like Flea has said in multiple interviews, this album's kind of unapproachable, just like the self-titled album, as he said. It's not because the music is bad by any means or just badly recorded or anything like that. It's just it's a mixture of things. It's a mixed bag. The first two albums are just a mixed bag. The first track, Jungle Man, is a straight up funk track, as well as Hollywood Africa track 2. One's a cover, one's not, and they're both pretty similar tracks. Jungle Man, you can kind of tell, has been inspired by that type of genre, that era, I should say. I'm sorry, of funk. And it's real prominent, there that they were influenced by that. And then American Ghost Dance comes in, and that song is just awesome. Track 3 is one of the best Chili Peppers tracks there is, in my opinion. One of Flea's best bass lines. Just really something you can get into. You can really dig. You can tell they had a lot of fun making that track. If You Want Me to Stay is another cover song. It's okay. It's not the best. I prefer the original version. If you're not familiar with that, it's written by Sylvester Stewart. I would go ahead and look it up, if you're interested, of course. Tracks 5 and 6, Nevermind and Freaky Styley, are probably some of the album's strongest tracks, just in terms of that signature Red Hot Chili Peppers jam band session feel going on in prominent parts during breakdowns and segues in between verses. Anthony Kiedis getting more experimental with his lyrics, and some would say that his lyrics on the first couple albums, are real obscure and real unapproachable, but none of his lyrics are exactly normal, I would say. So in this instance, these ones are kind of out there, definitely. Track 7's Black Eyed Blonde and track 8, The Brothers Cup, are again two of the album's strong points. One, another straight up funk song, and then another punk funk song, kind of fast. The Chili Peppers were really influenced by punk and metal at the time. And that didn't happen until they met Halil Slovak. He really got them into that. Flea being a huge jazz fan, and Anthony Kiedis being a huge rap fan. So all of their input and their influences make the sound that the band has today, even with the different members. They again evolved with Frusciante and Chad Smith, but that's definitely a different conversation. It's almost a different band, and in my opinion, a better section of their career. But as the album progresses, after the Brothers Cup, track 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13 even are real short tracks. Most of them under the 2-minute mark, a couple of them even under the 14-second mark. 30 Dirty Birds, track 13, I just gotta mention, it's more like a spoken word poetry kind of song with an accent, and it's just, it's a wasted track. I don't put much stock into intro and outro tracks. Sometimes they can be exceptional, but most of the time they're just a waste. Same thing with track 10, 36 seconds, interesting, but how much can you love a song that's only 36 seconds long? It's just not a lot of substance. If you guys know of any, though, you want to suggest them, I'd be happy to check them out, because I gotta say, of the things bands do, that's one of the most annoying things. Yertle the Turtle is a great closing track to this album, track 14. Much like Grandpappy Do Plenty on the first album, it just closes the track with a real funky song. A lot of horns on this album, like I said, mixing in there with Halil's new added grain to the guitar, which was not prominent at all in the first album. By the Uplift Mofo Party Plan, the third album by the Chili Peppers, they finally recorded an album at that point with their original lineup. But until, that album, they didn't really have the cohesive sound that they were going for. And because of that, this album is also probably around a 3. While it is an improvement of the first album, in a lot of ways, the tail end of it really just it bogs it down. It makes it worse than it could have been. Because, it has a real strong intro, and it around the 8th or 9th track, it's where it should have ended. It should have just ended right there, and then, it probably would have been a 4 or 5 star album. But it's bogged down by the tail end of it, because just a lot of waste, in my opinion. Other than Catholic Schoolgirls Rule, I gotta mention that song is pretty great for being under 2 minutes. Punk funk, like I said, at its finest. I don't know what else to call it, because it's fast, it's like thrash, it's like punk, it's like funk, but it's all one thing with Kiedis rapping. And if you haven't heard it, just give it a listen. Let me know what you think. Freaky Styley, definitely one of the more interesting Chili Peppers releases. Like I said, can't use the word interesting enough with this band, with their early releases. Episode 3 will actually be taking a segue from the Chili Peppers discography momentarily to talk about the new Seosin album and the new Aesop Rock, The Impossible Kid album. Those are 2 albums I'd really like to talk about. They're new releases this year, and they really stand out in their genres, especially Seosin. It's been a long time coming, so if you like what I've had to say about this album, and you'd like to hear what I have to say about future albums, go ahead and just click for my videos, subscribe, see if you like other things I'm talking about. If not, thanks for viewing my page. Thanks for the input if you leave any comments, and just let me know what you think of this album. And if you have any suggestions for things you want me to review, I'm all for that too. This is Art Collector Reviews. Thanks for watching.